All right, everybody. I am what you need. You're watching my channel. And we're going to take some time out to talk a little bit about boxing again. And as you can see from the topic, we're talking about this particular era of boxing, this particular era, no other era, just this era. And I'm listening to people, fans particularly, saying that this is the weakest era in boxing. So we're going to look at the lightweight division. We're going to look at the matchups that are going to come in the lightweight division. Some of the matchups set up before COVID-19 and some are coming after COVID-19. And I'm going to ask you the question again, is this era really the weakest era in boxing? And we're going to try and go through division by division. I'm going to look at all the top guys or the recognized guys. They may not be at the top right now, but they will be recognized guys. And we're going to look to see if they really are meshing with one another. Because one of the things about me you'll realize is I like to come from a factual basis. I don't go from an emotional basis. And a lot of people speak based on their emotions and they get carried away. By the way, shout out to EJ Boxing Live for correcting me on Undisputed Champion. And actually was just known as the champion, whatever division it was. And then later on it became Undisputed. Now, different sources have different times when people became undisputed. They talk about Jack Dempsey being undisputed, but as EJ had inputted in the last session, they ignored the colored heavyweight champions for a very long time, and we have to factor that in. And so EJ, in his perspective, says that wasn't Jack Dempsey wasn't the undisputed champion, but he was actually the unified champion, which is a very important point. It's a very good point. I would say though that Jack Johnson, I think, was the first undisputed champion, like he was saying, because of the combination of different things. So I'm glad he corrected me on that. Again, I can be wrong, people. I have no problem being wrong. I want you guys to understand it's about learning. And you got to be humble enough to learn. And when somebody's saying something, you go and you check it up, you research it, and you learn. Right? I went and researched it myself, and I realized, oh, I was wrong. So I want you guys to enjoy this channel. This channel is all about learning. It's all about you free to speak your mind, say what you got to say. And hopefully at the end of everything, we learn more. Okay. Because thanks to not only EJ, but Get This Smoke, also Holy Inferno, right? Holy Inferno, and also Tommy Temper. And even Intangible Boxing, we chimed in for a bit. Thanks to you guys, we got a really good session the last session. But the only problem with these sessions is we don't want to go 3 hours long. We don't want to go 2 hours long. Most people don't have attention spans for that. As much as it's interesting, we need to keep it, and we're going to try and compress it down, compact it down into about an hour session to 30-minute session. And we're going to find a way to be crisp, clean, and sharp with our points when we want to make our points. I'm not going to rush anybody, but at the same time, we're going to have a limit, a 5-minute limit. I know that sounds like sometimes you got to go in depth, and sometimes 5 minutes is not enough, but a 5-minute limit to get to the point of what you got to say. And I've done it. I've done videos in under 5 minutes, in 3 minutes, and I got to the point. And when I come out and talk, it takes me hours and hours, and I just go on, elaborating on different things. But we want to reduce it to like 5 minutes per person, maximum. So we're talking about an average of 2 minutes you get to talk, or 1 minute you get to talk. Because sometimes people talk for, you don't realize they're talking for like 20 minutes, 10 minutes straight. And it's all good. I'm not mad at it, but we want to get a format where the average casual fan, when they come in, it's just 30 minutes. They go through the thing, or even sometimes it's just 10 minutes, or sometimes it's just 5 minutes. We are on a stream, but it's compact. It's to the point. I know I can edit these things afterwards, but I still don't know how to do that software. So till then, I want to do that. What I want to do also is I want to do interviews with people in the business, in the industry. And not because, I want to get into the industry or anything like that, but there are qualified professionals, for instance, judges. And I can think of a couple of judges who are really good at doing that, and they've never really been criticized. And I would like to get some of those judges on here, one at a time, not like 2, 3, because that will take too long. But just get one judge at a time and hear how they score fights. And then give them maybe one example or 2 examples of fights, one that they it's an unknown person against an unknown person. As far as they're concerned, they just got to judge a round or something, and then you give them something, a round that was judged already, and see how they judge along those lines. And if they, mesh up with the judges that were there, we get to understand the psyche of how the judges judge fights. Because what you'll find is that once you do it independent, when you have them just doing independent things where they just have to go on there judging, they don't know who the A side is, they don't know who the B side is, they don't know none of those things, and you're just judging around. It's going to be interesting how they judge it, because that will tell us how judges judge. So, and I know different judges kind of judge with different sways to different things, but still, at the end of the day, this is what I want to see, and I want to hear them explain it. And I think a lot of you will benefit from this, watching at these judges judge fights. So we're going to get into that, and hopefully I can get a judge or two on here. It doesn't need to be mainstream judge, but then I would love to get one of those big mainstream judges who have a really great reputation to be able to judge fights. So we're going to get to that, and so we can get into more details. So because I'm tired of hearing fans say, "Oh, this was a robbery and that was a robbery," and this was, because the fans don't know how to judge fights. They just don't know how to judge fights. I think Tommy Temper brought up a really great point. The other topic we're going to go into would be a very touchy topic that I want to get in, interview people on, which will be PEDs. And it maybe my channel will, maybe it won't, get some of these guys who actually have been accused of using PEDs. And then I'm going to get assembly of questions from you guys. And we're going to give, I'm going to relay those questions to that person. Okay, whatever you give me, how I do it is through the YouTube channel's community page. I'll ask you guys what questions you want to ask, and then you guys can fill out the community page. And then some of you guys will come on here as guests, and you can ask your own questions for yourself to that person. So this is the way how we want to approach boxing. We want to approach it from meaningful perspectives, which will actually impact the sport. And also from, we're just going to interview, if we're going to interview, we're not going to just interview the people who have been affected. We want to also interview boxing bodies like USADA, VADA, even if we can get an official from WADA, that would be great, because those are the people that, excuse me, those are the people who officiate, and they can explain a little bit more what they do, how they are able to determine what tests. If I can get somebody from UCAD even, these are the kinds of things I don't see in boxing. I see one guy write one piece, and that's about it. And we need to, as fans of boxing, if we don't like something, then we can take the initiative, and we can start asking questions ourselves to the people. And the beautiful thing about COVID-19 is, in this environment, we got these tools that we can contact all these people and have them talk to us. And if they don't want to talk to us, it's a different story. But if they want to talk to us and put it out there so that the fans would know what exactly goes on in these things and behind the scenes, that's what we do. And you guys, especially UCAD, you guys might want to have 100 million questions with them. USADA, because USADA has been looked upon as if it's dirty or something. So USADA and even VADA, we can go there and maybe even get interviews with people who work with snacks and other nutritional people, strength and conditioning people. So we want to be able to really start to tap into boxing, but we're going to do it from a fan's perspective. We're not trying to get no funding from nobody. We're not trying to pick sides. We're not trying to be political about things, but we want to be able to ask these people these questions as fans, and you guys should be the ones asking the questions, not me. I want you guys to do it, and even you guys can pop up on here, ask your questions, and then leave, okay? And why this is important, the judges and the PED use, and finding out from these officials, specific questions that we ask them, is because that gives us a better perspective from different parties. So now we're informed fans. We're not just people listening to the news, what this reporter says and what that reporter says, but we get direct access to these people, and we get to ask them questions as fans, So that's what this conduit, what you need, is all about. It's about you guys getting direct access to these people, and you get to ask the questions you want to ask. I'm just the guy that's there to coordinate and regulate, I don't pick any sides. You guys go ahead with your questions. They'll have to answer you, and based on that, that's how it'll go. With those kinds of interviews, each person is not allotted more than a minute. Okay, so you guys get to ask questions, get out of there. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to ask, you can ask like one question or two questions. So the unfortunate thing for fans, because I know sometimes some of the topics will be wondering, a whole bunch of fans will come through. I want you guys to be regulated so we can have a short session. We don't want to have these long extended sessions. Okay, if these guys choose to explain, out of the wazoo and take a long time, I just tell them, if you're going to answer questions, we're going to have it at a 5-minute limit. So try to keep it compact, nice, succinct, and you can always direct us to your source material, your page or your organization for more details. But just kind of summarize it, keep it short, keep it brief. That way, we can really address the issue, the heart of the issue, and that person has to be able to understand that they got to get, got to snippy snappy, get it down pack as best as they can, and summarize it as simply as possible so that everybody can understand. And that's the way how we want to have our programs going. Okay, some of our programs are going to last about 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, and some others are going to go as long as an hour, but we're not going to go past an hour. Okay, the reason being, once again, it may be fun for the participants, but for the people viewing, they work, they do other things, so we don't want to take too much out of their time. Okay, I'm 11 minutes in. I'm going to take 10 more minutes, and that's it for this. So let's talk about the different divisions. The one we're going to focus on this time is the lightweight division. Is this era really weak? Okay, let's look at it. In the lightweight division, there's a hierarchy. The top 10 guys are Vasily Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell, Jorge Linares, Javier Fortuna, Richard Comey. Okay, Richard Comey's higher than Javier Fortuna, but I put it in any order. Now the point is, these are the top guys. Now in the division itself, we also got other guys that you guys overlook all the time. Robert Easter Jr. I don't know why you guys overlook him. After Mikey beat him, and it was a tough fight for Mikey and him. Mikey dropped him. This guy's been fighting top guys, and he's been doing very well. You guys overlook Robert Easter Jr. Lee Selby's an excellent fighter. I don't know why you guys overlook Lee Selby. We got Rancis Bartholomew. We got Felix Verdeo. He's still in there and still doing his thing. We got Terry Flanagan in there. I'm just mentioning those guys on the side. But when we look, they say this year is weak because people don't want to lose their this is the kind of talk that people say. Now, mostly when there's a lull in boxing, people get pessimistic and they start talking nonsense. But nonetheless, they say people are trying to lose their they're not trying to have the big fights. And okay. So Vasily Lomachenko, who's been accused of ducking Devin Haney or whatever. Vasily Lomachenko, anyway, he's going to be facing Teofimo Lopez. Now, you can't get a better matchup than that right now. As much as people say he's ducking Devin Haney, first of all, a duck is when you avoid facing a certain fighter and you fight a fighter that's inferior to that fighter, a lesser fighter. There's no way you can say that Teofimo Lopez is a lesser fighter than Devin Haney. You can't. You could try and you could go fanboying out of me, but Teofimo Lopez is the IBF lightweight champion of the world. He defeated Richard Comey to become that. Okay? You're constantly facing better competition, but his competition is better than Devin Haney's competition to start with. Devin Haney had nobody on his resume like that. Nobody. Okay? Now he was going to face, he was the mandatory to face Vasily Lomachenko until the franchise championship thing came. Lomachenko requested it. But the point is, regardless, Devin Haney should have gotten that shot, not Teofimo Lopez. Okay? So this is why we were saying that Devin Haney was ducked. But while he was avoided, for whatever reason, Lomachenko did not want to face Devin Haney. He also has shown adverse reactions to Teofimo Lopez. I'm not saying he was afraid of him or anything, just the way how he was reacting, very adverse. That is, he didn't want Teofimo Lopez anywhere near him when he was having his different fights or whatever. Which there's several different reasons that could be. Okay, let's just be real. All right, he's preparing for another fight. He don't need to see this dude. Keep this dude away from him. But nonetheless, the point is he is facing Teofimo Lopez now. So all this duck, 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 duck thing doesn't make no sense. You can't be ducking one fighter and then going to face another fighter who's in a higher status than that fighter. Or the same is you can't say he ducked. Just like how I can't say really Sugar Ray Leonard. Well, yeah, I can say that. So I won't go. But I can't say that certain fighters duck other fighters when they went and faced fighters that are, it's like with Canelo, whether I like it or not, he really ducked Charlo because he went and faced Kovalev. You can't say he ducked. You can't. You just can't. And Kovalev was not. Yes, Kovalev was by the ring at least. He was the #1 light heavyweight in the world by the ring. Transnational boxing on record shows something else. All right. But that's another story for another day. So let's just get into, because transnational boxing does not remove their lineal champions. The lineal champion was Adonis Stevenson. Kvordik was the lineal champion as a result of beating Adonis Stevenson. So therefore, there was no way that Lomachenko was that Kovalev was the #1 boxer in the world. Anyway, I'm running out of time. So let's talk. So Vasily Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez is the best fight you could have right now at lightweight. So who's ducking who, really? Seriously, right? So this is not weak. This is not weak. This is the best versus the best. And Teofimo Lopez, from what I see, he's talking a certain way. We'll see how he pans out. But he has certain attributes that could allow him to be Vasily Lomachenko. So we'll see how that goes. Then we got Devin Haney versus Yorkis Gamboa. Everybody's kind of like overpassing Yorkis Gamboa. He's too old, blah, blah. Gamboa is about the same age as Vasily Lomachenko. What are you talking about? Okay, he's a little bit older. He's like, what, 38, 39, something like that. A little bit older. It's like Shane Mosley old. But that don't mean nothing. He hasn't had much fights. So he's not old and gone through and gone with the wind. So, and he had a good showing with Tank until he damaged his foot. And then even when he damaged his foot, Tank didn't get him out of there until the 12th round. Okay. Showing it, he knew how to survive. In veteran tactics, you got to understand he did very, very, very well. And let's see how he does against Devin Haney. That will tell us everything we need to know. Okay. Now, I'm not saying this is the top tier, top class fight. Holy Inferno, what's up, bro? This is an era of ducking and business over legacy. I disagree with that. I'm gonna tell you 2 reasons. One, I feel like it's a smarter era. If Vasily Lomachenko took on Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez is on the wing, Vasily Lomachenko is talking about he want to unify all the belts and become undisputed, right? Vasily Lomachenko decides to go and face Devin Haney. Now he washes Devin Haney. He washes the boy. The boy be talking all of that trash talk, and then Lomachenko goes and washes him. Holy Inferno. What's that going to prove? How does that help Lomachenko? He still has to go back and unify. Okay. So he took the franchise championship back. He requested it. And he's facing Teofimo Lopez next. Now, risk versus reward, to be honest with you, if Devin Haney had beat Lomachenko, risk versus reward, I mean, it don't help Lomachenko. Devin Haney have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Lomachenko have everything to lose and nothing to gain. So if I was him, and this goes all the way back. You listen to Roy Jones Jr. talk about Floyd Mayweather versus Oscar De La Hoya. Let's be real here. Oscar De La Hoya had everything to lose and nothing to gain, and Floyd would have had everything to gain and nothing to lose. It's risk versus reward. That made no sense. Why would I go do that? I'm not making an extra money or anything off of it. Lomachenko wanted to make a name for himself. He wanted to be unified. Of course, I'm going to face Teofimo Lopez. One, Teofimo Lopez faced a real world champion. Devin Haney didn't face no real world champion yet. He just got a belt. Two, while Devin Haney is his mandatory, right? Lomachenko gains nothing by beating Devin Haney. Nothing. Don't we encourage people to have unification fights? So why is it that all of a sudden we change that and he's ducking Devin Haney, he doing, and then he goes and unifies? Come on, man. And we all know Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, they all came up together. Well, Gervonta, like the older guy. And Lomachenko said he wanted to face Gervonta. Why do you think he wanted to face Gervonta? Gervonta the most qualified of all of them. Gervonta got more belts than all of them. Gervonta's like what, 2-time world champion at super featherweight. I don't count him as a world champion at lightweight. Sorry, that's Lomachenko banned. Lomachenko the champion. Also, Devin Haney, same thing. I don't count him as a champion. Lomachenko the champion. Okay, it's sad, but I gotta say like how I see it. Okay, he the dude that actually beat somebody to get his belt. I'm not saying Devin Haney didn't beat somebody to get his belt, but you know he was an interim dude. He's like, if Lomachenko ain't there, I'm a champion. That's how it go. You know, that's how I look at it. I don't care if they say regular belt. If you got a super champion or franchise champion up in there, you ain't the champion, bro. So anyway, trying to wrap this up real quick. Holy Inferno. I don't think this is ducking business. I think it's smart. Lomachenko is doing something that all boxers throughout history would have done. Okay, he would have gone for the unification over just defending his belt for what? You know, Muhammad Ali didn't do that because guess what? Muhammad Ali was the undisputed champion. So he had to just be contender after contender after contender after contender. That's all he had. But when you got multiple belts in the division, I'm going to try and do, and everybody be complaining about this. Oh, this guy got to deal with a mandatory and he don't unify. This dude unifying. That's what he's doing. That's what he's going to do next. He want to unify. He got almost all the belts. Got 3 of them. He got 1 more to get. Why would I stop him from getting that 1 extra belt he's supposed to get over defending against a mandatory? So I get it. Okay, it's not really ducking. Okay, if you really think about it, and the dude that he's facing is just as good, or we're gonna find out who better in time. So I just don't get it. Like, they're young pups. They're coming up. They want to make a name off the old guy. Okay, that's what Devin Haney want to do. I'm not saying Lomachenko's old, like 32, 33. He's not really old. But the point is, he's been in the business for a long time, in the amateurs especially. So everybody looking at Lomachenko hungry, you know, because they all hungry young champions. So they all want to get Lomachenko, right? They're hungry. They're hungry. They're ready. They're hungry for a fight. So obviously, Devin Haney's going to say, Lomachenko duck me. He called Lomachenko and all that. I understand. Lomachenko can get to you if he can get to you, okay? But right now, if I was Lomachenko, I'd do the same thing. That's not ducking. Anyway, let's keep it going, because that's where they say this era is weak, and I disagree 100%. Devin Haney versus Yorkers Campbell. Well, Devin Haney couldn't get nobody. Everybody else is matched up. I mean, he could have. I mean, he was supposed to face the guy that Jorge Linares is facing. Jorge Linares is matched up with Javier Fortuna. That's a hell of a fight. You know, Fortuna does a lot of other things. So Linares is matched up with Fortuna, and Ryan Garcia, it looks like he's gonna be matched up with Luke Campbell. Those are 2 great fights. Those are 2 fantastic fights. And people don't really know because Ryan Garcia is not proven. They know Luke Campbell is proven, so people are gonna pick Luke Campbell over Ryan Garcia. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Ryan Garcia is 5'10" with a 70-inch reach, 71-inch reach. Luke Campbell's 5'9" with a 71-inch reach. Ryan Garcia is way faster than Luke Campbell. Okay, way faster. He got good timing as well. We saw that in his last fight. He's got great. There's no way Luke Campbell's beating Ryan Garcia. I'm just gonna say it right now. I don't see Luke Campbell beating Ryan Garcia. He's tough. He's good. You know, he got experience and everything. Ryan Garcia is gonna beat him, and rather easily. Okay, because when all things come equal, we got 2 technical fighters. They can do some of the same things. Luke Campbell, of course, being southpaw. But one just got that God gifted. He got that quickness over you. He got that reaction time over you. He got that speed over you. It's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Poopy Sister says, can you burn fat and get in shape while maintaining your weight? Yeah, of course. You maintain your weight with water. Of course. So, yeah, absolutely. It's just the foods you eat and then how you move around during the day. I'm 160, but I could get down to 154 pretty easily because most of it's water weight. That's how fighters actually that's how they lose weight. Most of the time you drink a lot of water so you don't have like gastric gases eating out your stomach. And then you eat, but you eat frequently but not much. So it's a lot of vegetables, it's a lot of nuts and stuff like that. And if you got to get your meat, you eat your meat, but you don't use it with flour and those things that stick and gum up your inside so the food can come out. Because a lot of people's weight is because a lot of people are heavier than they are because food stays in their stomach, stays in their alimentary canal or their gut, and it don't come out properly. So a lot of that extra mass is because people have a swollen stomach and stuff, right? So you can lose like 20, 30 pounds just by passing out the food really properly. So if you're a chubby-ish kind of guy, you gonna lose most of your money, even though you got body fat inside of there as well, but you lose most of your weight when you pass out the food, which I'm about to eat a meal again. My meals are usually like they're peas or beans with rice. I don't use no flour products, or I stay away from flour products and sugar. Yeah, so yeah, these are the matchups. It's 25 minutes in. I'm gonna try and cut 30 minutes because you guys kind of interacted a little bit. All right, we forgetting Richard Comey just because he got knocked out by Teofimo Lopez don't mean he's not a very good fighter. All right, and then of course we got the matchup with we got some guys out here. I don't know if they're matched up yet, but like I said before, Rancis Bartholomew, Lee Selby, Terry Flanagan, Felix Verdeo, who had a pretty good showing, and then we had yeah, that's basically it for the lightweight division. There's some other names in there, but I just left them out. So in the lightweight division, I disagree with everybody. I know how popular people say, they're popularly saying that. Oh, I didn't put the link in the link section. Oh, we're gonna have to leave that alone for today. A lot of people popularly say that people are ducking and dodging, and I get it. They say Lomachenko's ducking and dodging. They're not really ducking and dodging. That's the problem. Even I accused him of ducking and dodging Devin Haney, but really, truth be told, he has not ducked or dodged anybody. If we're being honest about the true sense of the word ducking. For some reason, he didn't want to face Devin Haney. He was avoiding him. We can't say he was ducking. Okay. And when you think about it, again, just intelligence, any kind of intelligence, who don't want to unify instead of defend? Unify, right? So you could be considered the undisputed champion, which we were talking about yesterday. You're going to be the man of the division. You now create this legacy. You create this lineage. Now people got to beat you, right? Because nobody else. The only other guy that he would have had to face is Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia is not coming back down to lightweight. So that's basically it. So I know there's a lot of buzz and humbug, and I'm not the greatest Lomachenko fan or anything, but we got to be straight. We got to be honest about it. Lomachenko is doing what he's supposed to do, which is unify. All right, Lomachenko is supposed to unify. Anyway, 27 minutes in, we're still a bit over the limit. I really wanted to just go for about 20 minutes on this topic. Holy Inferno, nice to see you again, bro. I would like you to jump on when you can, when you have time. You know what I'm saying? Poopy Sister on same thing. I want to see your face, guys. I want to see your faces. There's nothing wrong with showing your faces. Put it out there, man. I told you the plans. I told you what we're about. Tune in for the next stream. We'll try to make one. I'm gonna have probably different streams as the day goes along, and also different live streams and different things. But I gotta make sure that we do something in the afternoon. All right, but we're not gonna keep it too long, okay? And we're 28 minutes in. I'll make my target go. I'm gonna catch you guys later on what you need. Oh, you can also check me out on Facebook. I've opened up a group. It's called Boxing Today, Yesterday, and Tomorrow. And we want to get people a sense of history of boxing, but we also want to get people a sense of anticipation and excitement for the future. You want to know about the past, great stuff in the past, but I also want people to look forward to the future as well. I think a lot of people are very pessimistic about the future of boxing, or they're very pessimistic about the present time. And I don't believe that's the attitude we should have to boxing. The people in UFC don't have that attitude to UFC. The people in the WWE, fans of WWE, don't have that attitude to WWE. We need to, as boxing fans, be a little bit more optimistic and positive about our sport. This is the sport we love. We said we love it, then we must be able to also see the positives in it. Not saying necessarily that you guys, especially fans, don't have certain really strong points about the eras that they're in, and we should be critical of them. So I'm not mad at y'all for that, but I'm just saying you got to look and really look and see what is the reality of the situation. That's all I want to say for now. Especially one more thing I want to say. Oh, I ain't got more time. I'm gonna catch you guys later. I'm what you need. Peace.